Hey, Elizabeth, what's up?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you for taking my call.
Of course.
Good.
What's up?
Well, I'm calling today hoping maybe you can give me some advice on what to do next or how to proceed. I'm in the point in my marriage where I'm pretty much ready to give up and ask my husband for a divorce.
Okay. What happened? Or what's been happening?
So my husband and I have been together for 12 years. About 8 months ago, I found out that he was hiding debt and his spending totaling about $40,000 over probably a little over a year. And that doesn't even include like his salary from working. We had no credit cards, but apparently he's taken out 3 credit cards, maxed those out. That's about $20,000. He cashed out a 401k that he had from a previous job. That was $7,000, and then he took $10,000 cash out of the money that we had been saving.
What is this? Just to kind of cut to it, about 95% of this, I just made that number up, but the vast majority of these situations, he's seeing somebody, or he is struggling mightily with a new addiction, or he is in gambling losses over his eyebrows. What's he pulling all this money out all of a sudden for?
I mean, it's just insane. So I went through like all of his bank statements, credit card bills, and it's just like golf clubs, private golf lessons, hunting equipment, shopping, buying new clothes. It's just like really random stuff, because I thought the same thing. Like, I don't understand how someone can spend $40,000 in 12 months and really not have a house full of new stuff. Is he gambling? Is he on drugs? Does he have a girlfriend, a secret family?
Have you done a forensic accounting of this? You've come up with about $40,000 worth of expenditures that just flew out the back door.
So I haven't added all of it up.
You need to do that because I'm with you. That's really if you're not finding hotel receipts on there, or you're not finding
like that, not even like online gaming casinos or sports betting or any of that stuff.
What has he said? What's his excuse?
So when we don't bank together, and so when our bank changed their platform, so we have a joint account that he solely uses, and then I have a checking account that my check goes into. So
why do y'all split up like that?
So before we used to bank together, and he had back child support that he owed from a previous marriage, and he was current on his child support. So when we were banking together, because we had money in our savings account, they froze our bank account and our savings account. So we were able to get them to unfreeze it, and then we separated our accounts until his child support was paid off, which it was paid off this year.
Okay.
And then we were going to go back to, having combined finances. So when the bank changed their platform, now when I log in, I can see my account, and then I can see any joint accounts that I'm on. And so I noticed like his balance was really low. So I go in and I start like kind of looking through there just because I've never really checked his account. And I start seeing like credit card payments. Well, we don't have any credit cards together. So I asked him, I was like, hey, do you have any credit cards? And he says, oh, yeah, I have 2. And I said, what are the balances on there? Like, what are you spending money on a credit card? So, at first he told me like lower amounts than what they were. But, it ended up turning into 3 credit cards, completely maxed out, $20,000. And then I see the 401k withdrawal. And then, I'm freaking out. So then I look at the money that we have saved, and there's $10,000 gone. And so at this point, like, I'm freaking out.
I mean, what's his excuse? When you confront him, what has he said at the end of the day? Bottom line, what has he said?
He said, I spent it on life.
And he just looks at you?
Uh-huh. And I said, while you're out maxing out these credit cards, did you ever think about us, our family, our children? And he said, no, why would I? I said, I mean, I don't know. Our youngest is getting ready to go off to college. We have a blended family of 3 kids. 2 are in their early 20s, and then the last one is 18. And that child's getting ready to go to college in the fall. Yeah, I mean, do you not think about, like, the money that you're taking away from our family?
Well, except for the number of students over the years that would get dropped off for freshman orientation and would be in my office the following week because one or the other parent had moved out because they were the last one to go.
Right.
And so you ask me, I'm thinking about leaving my husband. I would tell you, it sounds as though your husband has left you.
I mean, I listen to your show all the time, and you always say, you know, behavior is a language.
That's right.
I'm thinking to myself, like, is he screaming at me like I'm done? I'm checked out?
I mean, when you said, have you thought about your family? And he said, why would I? Good God.
And that was like his exact words.
Language is a language on that one. I mean,
dumbfounded.
Yeah, I'm dumbfounded for you. Yeah, he's through. I think it's worth your soul. And here's what I mean by that. You're going to end up making yourself bananas, wondering the what ifs and the hows and the whatever, because he's clearly lost, if he ever had it, he's clearly lost that core sense of integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a person who tells the truth. I'm a person who is in partnership with my wife, creating a family together. He has lost that. That center has dissolved. And I don't know where it went or why, whatever. You're going to begin to get pieces of that, and you're going to make yourself bananas if you don't have a full accounting of all the questions you want answered. And I don't think you're going to get truthful answers unless you go add those dollars up.
Right.
I would be stunned if there's not another shoe to drop financially, or if there's not some big something or other. Either that, or he is trying to burn through money so that when he leaves you, it makes separation easier. And by the way, his math is going to be really a mess when he decides to pull whatever trigger he's going to pull.
Yeah.
When you've mentioned divorce and separation, what has he said?
I mean, I haven't really mentioned divorce. I told him, you know, when we sat down and I finally found out about everything, I told him, you know, like, I can't continue like this.
What did he say?
And we don't really communicate. I asked him, I said, you know, like, do you not love me anymore? Do you not want to be in this marriage? Like, if you don't, I mean, it's okay. You know, people change. People's feelings change. And he says, you know, no, like, I love you more than anything. I want to be with you.
And behavior is a language.
I mean, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see it. And so he says, you know, like, I'll do a better job of communicating with you. So,
That's so stupid. That's so stupid.
So in January was the last time that we have talked about that.
That's so
this whole
stupid.
thing. That was 5 months ago.
Listen, Elizabeth, just so you know, you're not crazy.
I feel like I am.
I know you do, because you have, man, you've got Gaslight 101. You've got like the Southeastern gaslighting champion living in your home. This is not a communication issue. The fact that you're married is what keeps us from being criminal theft. He stole from a joint savings account. Like, it's immoral. In my world, I call it financial infidelity. He has cheated on you. He has broke the fidelity of your marriage by taking money out of your future, from your future selves, by taking money out of your joint savings, from your joint dreams together, for the things y'all were going to get later. He has lied to you. He's hidden from you. This is every bit as infidelity, every bit as much infidelity as is sleeping with a neighbor.
Right.
And I would say probably more, but that's just me. 40 years. How much money do you make a year?
Combined, we make over 200.
Okay. So he burned through 40 grand. What do you even need that much to spend that much money on if y'all make that kind of money?
Nothing. That's, I mean, I make the majority of the money, and I have a very
of course you do. That's awesome.
High demanding job. I work a ton of hours, and I asked them, like, are you bored at home? Like, because, a lot of times I'm not there. Is that like why you want to spend all this money? And, he says no, because I'm thinking, like, is that what it is?
No, it's this. I if it's not something like we talked about earlier, it's not seeing somebody else, and there's not some sort of addiction or gambling challenge, which that'd still be where I'd put my money. No pun intended. He's a man that feels dead in his own skin. And buying things, signing up for things, charging things, liquidating accounts to buy, it gives you a little bit of a sense of aliveness.
Mm-hmm.
And then when somebody challenges it, they can say, I was just spending my money on life. But it's the same reason somebody texts somebody back a new topless photo of somebody they're not married to. It just makes you that rush, right? It's that feeling of aliveness. I'm going to risk the fact that I don't know what that guy's going to do or that woman's going to do with that picture of my naked body for the rest of I don't care. I got this rush right now.
Right.
Right? It's the same thing. Same thing. And there's got to be, it's not a matter of I'll communicate better. That's just nonsense. This is a matter of the marriage we had before is over now. By the way, the timing's pretty good because you're about to be empty nesters, right? Your 18-year-old's about to be gone.
Right.
Is your 18-year-old going into college as a freshman in a few months?
Yes.
Okay. So it's the perfect time to control alt delete.
Great kid, super smart.
And so it may be that your husband's seeing, like, what's my role? What's my purpose here? And instead of handling that like a mature adult, he just spun out. But the marriage y'all had is over. Just so you know, you're not nuts. You're not crazy. It's over. Like that we're together. We both have these same values. We don't violate these values. Yes, people grow and change. That's amazing. My wife's a radically different person. I am too. Our beliefs change. Our thoughts about things change. But our values are still etched in stone, right? And so we've changed, but here we are, and y'all's marriage is what it was is over. Now y'all get to decide, are we going to rebuild something as empty nesters moving forward?
I mean, I was willing, but I see no effort from him.
Yeah, but like also y'all talked 3 months ago. You never, or 4 months ago, you never followed up. Y'all never made it so that you've got some ownership in that.
I do, but I'm always the one to bring it up.
That's fair.
And the last time we had that conversation in January, I sat on the couch and I poured my heart out to him. I told him, like, these are the things that I need. Like, I am so alone in this marriage. I'm the one who makes all the decisions. When I come to you and say, hey, like, what do you think about this? What do you think we should do? It's always, I don't know, whatever you think.
Is he being a coward or is he emasculated?
I mean, I have no idea. Like, okay. I don't, if I do that, I don't mean to. I always include him. If I ever make any big purchases, I always say, like, hey, are you comfortable with this? I try to let him make decisions and do things, but it just like he always puts it back on me.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, I think it's time for a hard conversation. And he doesn't sound like a kind of person who's going to have the integrity, if he's leaving, that he's going to actually leave.
Right.
He's going to force you to do it, and then he's going to be the victim, and that's going to play well in court. Especially if you make a whole bunch of money.
Well, not a whole bunch, but...
I hate this for y'all. But yeah, I think it's, you listen to the show live, this is the turn on the lights moment. Send the 18-year-old away and just say, we got to be adults. No saying, I don't know, I don't care. We can't do any of that. No whining, no screaming. Are we gonna create a new marriage? Or are we done?
Yeah.
I think we're at that conversation. And if he walks away, I think you tell him up front, behavior's the language. Your actions have told me over the last 6 months you're completely done with this marriage. Has he put the $40,000 back in or at least the 10 grand that he stole out of the family savings?
Still spends money. He eats out almost every single day. A couple of weeks ago, he bought a $300 GoPro camera, a $120 bottle of bourbon, and then he has no money in his checking account. And then I have to pay for him to get a new tire. Like, I don't, he doesn't pay any bills. I pay all the bills. The only thing he does is buy groceries. So the rest of his paycheck is free to do, whatever he wants to do. I want him to be able to have spending money.
I know, but you see how that's set up. He's your son. Like the way you just described that to me, he's your child.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it didn't get there like because it had to, because that's how he acted. But how the dynamic is now is he gets his spending money. He gets to spend on whatever he wants to. I pay all his bills.
I never wanted him to feel like he didn't.
I know.
Have
of course not. Of course you didn't. No. But I think we're past the blame part. I think that it is what it is. And just by hearing what you're saying is he clearly doesn't want to be married.
I mean, that's how I'm interpreting it.
Yeah. And so I think that's the conversation. And if you are going to tell him, I will never divorce you. If you want out of the marriage, you're going to have to file the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
But from this point forward, I'm going to move our money because you keep stealing, or my money. You keep taking my money.
I mean, I got so scared, I put a credit freeze on my all 3 credit bureaus.
And you should do it on your kids also.
Everything I had in savings and invested it in a CD that can't be pulled out for 12 months.
And you should do it with your kids.
Yeah.
To make sure that there's not credit cards taken out in their name too. But at the end of the day, yeah, I appreciate the call and running stuff by, but you're not crazy. You're not crazy. And if he has another side of the story, it's up to him to communicate that, to put it on the table. Whew. So here's the deal. You gotta have this final conversation, and then you have to have your or what moment. I will not file paperwork on you. I will go to protect me and the kids, but I will not file paperwork on you. If you want out of this marriage, you have to file for divorce. Or maybe I'll file the paper if that's what we're going to do. But it sounds like you still want to stay in this thing and you still love this guy. And he's trying to find every reason why you love him, and he's trying to scratch that off so to make it borderline impossible. And so, yeah, it's a come to Elizabeth meeting or come to the family meeting to ask, are we going to keep doing this, especially during this great season of transition when y'all are about to be empty nesters. Ugh. I hate that. If he wants to call me, I'd love to talk to him. I can almost guarantee you he won't, but I wish you the best in the next few months. It's going to be a tough, tough road. But thanks for the call, Elizabeth. I'm really grateful.